The ComSat network seems to be working. Now we can send this probe to Ike. This is it, huh? This is a bit more impressive. While we're there, we might as well leave some ComSats for future missions. They're still missing boosters, though. Then we'll need an interplanetary stage. Nice! And then we'll need a decent-sized rocket to get it into orbit. I know! Let's add 2 more huge rockets! No, wait, we don't need... 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Welcome back, guys, to Space Patrol, episode number 6. Last time we set up a series of satellites. We're using the RemoteTech mod now, which means we can't just launch probes willy-nilly. We have to have a network of antennas and satellites to allow them to communicate with our red dot here, the Kerbal Space Center. We are getting into orbit. We're ready to go to Ike, which is the moon. The satellite, the primary satellite, the only satellite of Duna, the next planet out, the Mars-alike. If Kerbal is Earth, then Duna is Mars. All right, so I'm getting up here. We've got a burn of 29 seconds and a node in 53. I have to very carefully make my ascent a big enough arc that we don't lose line of sight with the Space Center. I've got, what do I have? I have the this satellite, or this antenna. Let's see, how high are we? Okay, I can turn on my other antennas. Let me explain what I just did after we get into orbit. I have this satellite, or antenna right here, the Reflectron DP10, which does not break under atmospheric flight, but it only has a range of 500 meters, or 500 kilometers rather. 500 meters isn't very much. Okay, here we go. It only has a range of 500 kilometers, and it does not break under atmospheric flight. So you can take off with it, but it won't get you very far. And once we get out of the atmosphere, I could turn on this, the Communotron 16. All right, let me focus on the mission so that I don't screw this up, and then we'll talk about the specifics of what we're doing. Oh. What happened? I definitely went too high. That's actually okay. Not a big deal. We are going to Duna. All right. So, started out with, let me go over it again. This little antenna right here, the Reflectron DP10, which does not break in the atmosphere, so we can take off with it, only has a range of 500 kilometers. So we couldn't break line of sight. You can see if we had gone much farther around the curvature of the planet, we would have lost line of sight and we wouldn't have been able to control the thing. Here comes our periapsis swinging by. And I might as well turn off SAS. Then, once I got out of the atmosphere up to 70,000 meters, I could enable this guy, the Communotron 16. Same thing that these guys are using. Those are both omnidirectional antennas, so they can receive and transmit information in every direction. And they have a range of, I think off the top of my head, 2,500 kilometers. So we are now part of the network. You can see the yellow line. We just broke line of sight with the Space Center. You see the line just switch? So we broke line of sight, but we're part of the network. I fast-forwarded time a bit to get a transfer window to go to Duna, and I had to fix the orbits of these guys. I have to do that periodically. Later, when I get better antennas unlocked in the tech tree, we will do... I'll set up a new set of satellites, and I'll try to put them in a very, very nice orbit that hopefully we don't have to manage too much. We're going to Duna, set as target. And we want to fire something like here. Okay. This fuel tank is going to run out before we get to right about halfway there through the maneuver, and then we can get rid of this fairing. So I'm not using Ferrum Aerospace or the lesser version of it, NEAR, whatever that stands for. So those fairings don't actually do anything. They actually increase my overall drag, but I think they look cool, so I'm going to continue to use them. They give it a real rockety feel. All right, we've got electric charge for days, and once we're in view of the sun again, I shall engage the solar panels. So we need to make sure that we do not lose touch with the Space Center, because this is a probe. There's no living anything on board to tell it what to do. Okay, here we come. Let's see, how did we do? Let's go ahead and close that. We have a Duna periapsis of 19 million miles, and I will feather the engine, see how low we can get that. Okay, it started going back up. Got to about 8 million meters. Good enough. All right, let's engage the solar panels. And while we're still, let's zoom in. While we're still close to Kerbin and in range of our network, I am going to engage some satellites. So these guys right here, Communotron 8888, they are not omnidirectional. They are dish antennas, so they have to be targeted at something, and they have a cone of effect. So think of 360 degrees of a circle, right? 90 degrees is a quarter of a circle. That's a very big cone. The Communotron, or no wait, these are 8888s. They have a range. Let me look up the value real quick. All right, so they have a cone diameter that covers 0.06 degrees. It is super duper narrow, and I am very worried. This is my first interplanetary flight using RemoteTech, so I'm very worried that we're going to lose touch with Kerbin, so I have built redundancy into the system. So I've got 4 of these dishes on here, and I'm going to aim each one at each of my 4 different ComSats. So that one is aimed at ComSat A. This one shall be aimed, you guessed it, ComSat B. And each of those ComSats is aimed at the active vessel, which is this guy. So they should be communicating with each other. You need two-way communication. You can't just have it going one direction. All right, you're looking at ComSat C. Good. And then the 4th one, we'll be looking... If I can click on him properly. No, that's the landing legs. Okay, you will be looking at ComSat D. Okay, activate. Good. Now, once we get out of range of my omnidirectional antenna, we should be good to go. The cone is 0.06 degrees, very narrow. The farther away we get from Kerbin, the better that's going to be, because the more area that's going to cover. Eventually, we're going to want to communicate also with these two. And so we may turn at least one of these to target Kerbin itself. And hopefully, from a large distance, that 0.06 degrees will cover at least one of these guys orbiting here, which will then connect to the Space Center. The way I understand it, you just have to have it pointed at the right direction. As long as something is targeting the active vessel within that cone, one of these guys hopefully, then we should be okay. Again, this is my first interplanetary flight with RemoteTech. All right, let's turn off the lights because we're about to time accelerate. Yeah, so I built in a lot of redundancy just to make sure nothing goes wrong. This mission was quite expensive. It was 140,000 funds to send this guy out. Okay, there we go. Electric charge is filling back up. Our waste heat is slowly increasing, but I've put some radiator fins on this guy. So he has 3 million and change effective waste heat capacity. That's pretty good. That should do us. And we won't... I don't think the radiators I use, I don't think they get rid of heat very effectively. But hopefully it won't matter. Hopefully it won't matter. I built in enough capacity that the reduction threshold, whatever, that it gets when it's actually in the shade sometimes. Hopefully we'll be okay. Alright, so that is good to go. Let's check out the network. Okay, yeah, see? So once we get out of range of... If we set him as our target real quick, we can see he is... he is 1,400 kilometers. And once we get beyond 2,500, we can no longer rely on our omnidirectional guy. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, now we're communicating directly with the Space Center. Okay, 2,200 meters. Or kilometers. 2,500 kilometers. We're about to break line of sight with the Space Center. But, yes, we are definitely well beyond that range, but we're still communicating because of those radar dishes are doing their thing. Passage of time, passage of time. So we made it here. We're into Duna's sphere of influence, and we are quite a distance away from Kerbin now. So I think it's safe to go from 4 satellites pointing to Kerbin down to 1. I didn't do any math. I don't know the exact distance we need to be away from the thing for that tiny little cone of effect to cover all of Kerbin. So let's just, let's try. Let's see what happens. Cross your fingers. Quick save, just in case. All right. Let's target this guy. Instead of Comsat B, let's just target him at Kerbin in general. Hopefully, the way I think that I understand that it works, anything that's within that cone that's shooting back at us, we should be able to communicate with. And all of my comsats are pointing at the active vessel, which is this guy. Okay, so we're pointing at Kerbin. Still connected. Let's deactivate the other guys. That should also save some battery charge if we happen to run into some shade unexpectedly, which it shouldn't be a big deal because I have a lot of electrical charge. Deactivate. Okay. Kerbin, deactivate. No, keep it active. If we deactivate this, we're screwed. I can still move it. Comms idle. I don't know what that means, but we're still connected with that one guy. Whew. All right, so next thing we need to do. We need to get into orbit around Duna. We can't aerobrake because that would destroy our comm dish. So we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way. As far as I can tell, I have enough Delta V to do it this way. Shouldn't be a big deal. But you never know what can go wrong. Oh, looks like, let me set him. Can I set you as my target? Ascending node, yeah, let's try and change that. 1.4. If we could come in at a better angle, 1.3, 0.8. 0.8 is probably pretty good. That's probably close enough to get an interaction. Alright, so we are 14 minutes away. I don't know how long the node is going to be, how long the burn, so let's go down to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes and give it a little test. Alright, it says not very long, so let's get a little bit closer. Whoop! Well, I went past it. Doesn't really matter, it's fine. It's fine. And if the Delta V runs out here, what I'll probably do is separate all 3 of these guys and let them go their merry own way. Oh, which reminds me, while we're here, as soon as we get into orbit, I need to do some science. I have 4 sets of science on the Ike probe. One is for space high over Duna, which I assume this is, or just over Duna. Wherever we are, that's what we're going to do. Then high over Ike, then over Ike, and then on the surface of Ike. Those are going to be the 3 that we do. Okay, let's throttle down, throttle down, throttle down. Whoop! Okay, that's good. I want to be more or less in the same orbit as Ike. So eventually we should be able to get into an interaction, and I will correct our inclination node as well. Let's do some science. We were blinded by it. Observe the mystery goo. Are we high over or just high over Duna? Okay, good. Goo takes on a red sheen. It looks very much like the planet blue. Keep data. Alright, I have an accelerometer. Can you do these in space? I don't even remember. Oh, record seismic data, collect impact data. I don't know what that is. Must be landed to activate probe. Oh, okay. Collect impact data. No. Okay, so can't... That one's wasted. Only really need one for when we land. Log temperature. Can't be done. Well, that's fantastic. All right. Well, at least we can observe the materials bay. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with it. 175. But if we transmit it, we're only getting 35. So this will be a high fund mission without a huge amount of science. But when we come back later with a manned mission, we will fill up the rest of this green bar. You can kind of tell that the green bar plus the blue bar equals one full bar. Funny how that works out. All right. And I don't think I can do crew reports or any kind of reports with this thing, can I? No. Okay. All right, so let's separate the three different probes. One is going to stay in orbit around Duna. The other will stay in orbit around Ike. And the third guy, the bigger one, is going to land on Ike. So we need to connect them each to Kerbin and activate before we separate them. Even though we have these antennas on here, I'm a little worried they won't work. And let's do this one. Target, Kerbin, activate. All right, so now we have 3 targeted at Kerbin. All right, targeted at Kerbin. Good. And we have, okay, a sufficient electric charge there. And I still have fuel in this tank, so I guess what I'll do is manually decouple this guy if I can. There we go. There. All right, let's switch to you. You're connected. Excellent. All right, buddy. So this guy's going to go around Duna. All right, whatever. Activate engine. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I needed to separate from that guy so that we didn't exactly... So we didn't thrust right into him because I had to burn backwards like this. Okay, that's good enough. Plenty of separation. Let's get into a lower orbit where I'm not worried about having some interaction with Duna. I want to be fairly close to the surface, too. Whoa! Oh, that's right. We're going to have an interaction with Ike. Yeah, that's what I wanted to avoid. So let's come down to about 800,000, something like that. And fast forward. Fast forward, sir. Now the other two I will keep them connected until we get into orbit around Ike. If I have enough fuel for that, I think I do. I should. This guy's gonna stay here. All right, right about here. Whoopsie daisy. All right. Spin arounds to retrograde. Good. Oh, man. Come on. Turn this way. All right, very nice. And then go ahead and fire. And bring that down to about the same value. It doesn't have to be super circular, because there's only one. It's not going to get out of sync with itself. It is out of sync with the plane of Ike's orbit, but who cares? Doesn't matter right now. Let's turn that off, and then let's do this. Let's open up another one of these guys, and let's target him, if I can, at active vessel. Okay, activate. Okay, so far so good. There's Duna. We're still connected to our network around Kerbin way over there, somewhere in the distance. And bam, there's Ike. All right, so we have to burn to get into orbit around Ike. And lo and behold, look at this. We are going to lose line of sight with Kerbin, which is why I have one of my radar dishes pointing at this ComSat, the Duna ComSat A. So as we get closer to here, let's go ahead and spin around. Let's turn SES on. That's the wrong direction. Let's spin around to point at the retrograde. There we go. So we should be able to point, we should be able to remain connected to the network. as we approach our periapsis, 13 minutes away. This burn shouldn't take too long. And if I have to jettison this fuel tank and engine, we should still be okay, because I've got plenty of fuel. We only have to land. We don't have to take off and get back to Kerbin. No connection. Uh-oh, that's not good. This guy should be connected. Is he out of line of sight too? That's possible. No, he's not. Okay, let me make sure that the satellites are still connected properly. This guy's connected to Duna ComSat A. That's why we're getting that line. This guy is connected to Kerbin. Huh. And this guy should have line of sight. Let's switch to him real quick. Maybe we can figure out what the problem is. Okay, he's connected. Now here we see that we should be connected. We have plenty of electric charge. That's not the issue. We don't have too much waste heat. That's certainly not the issue. This guy is connected to the active vessel, which should have been that other one. This guy's connected to Kerbin. All right, let's switch back. See if that fixes it. Sometimes you have to do that. Switch to Ike Probe Mission Mark 1. Huh. It still says no connection. I have no idea why that's happening. Maybe it just doesn't understand why. I have a line here, and this guy, when we switch to him, is connected to Kerbin. Well, all we have to do, we just have to wait until we get to there. That should still work. So I don't know why that's not working. If you've used this mod before and you know, like, mistakes I'm making, let me know. We should be reconnected right here, though. Blam! Reconnected. Maybe there's a maximum number of jumps that the mod will let you do. But I kind of thought that's the way it would work. We would connect to him, and then he would connect there. That's why I brought these guys, to try to avoid problems like that. But, oh well. There we go. That's all that took. Okay, so from there, we're in orbit. Let's jettison our next guy. Let's turn the lights on, because we're on the dark side of the planet. Or the moon. Dark side of the moon. So this ComSat dish is pointing at Kerbin. Whoops. And then I'm going to try this even though it didn't work with the other one. Let's have this one go to active vessel. Activate. Let's decouple. Switch to this guy. You're connected. Excellent. Quick save in case something goes wrong. Never know. Okay. Good. Whoa. Crazy sounds. Okay, nothing's gone. I left the lights on. We left the... It's like leaving the stove on in your house. Okay. Turn the lights off. SES is off. Let's switch to this guy. And what he's going to do, I'm going to have him come over here and raise his apoapsis up to about 500,000. And that's where he's going to stay for darn near ever. All right. And we should be connected to this guy. They both have communitrons. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know exactly what the cause is of some of these confusions. Although, yeah, we should be able to connect to him. I don't know. 522,000 meters is our apoapsis. Our periapsis is rising. Whoop. 521, 543. That'll do, pig. That'll do. You can kind of just barely see the cone effect. Whoa. Wait, what is that? Huh. There's some different little icons down here. I don't know exactly what they all do. They turn on and off different things about the network. I'll just leave them all on. Okay, so he's in orbit. And he has, just to double check, he's got one targeting Kerbin and one targeting active vessel. Maybe that's not even going to work. Let's switch back to this guy. And let's do some science. Hopefully we're still high over in that high over category. That's the one we did last time. Let's find out. Observe mystery go. High over Ike. Good. Feels right at home. All right, keep that. And then Materials Bay, Science Junior. Okay, keep that. Yeah, I think that's all we can do. Log temperature. Nope. Record seismic data. Nope. Okay, that's fine. Let's turn SAS back on. We are connected. Well, to prevent that from happening again, I think what I want to do, I want to come over here to where we're just in line of sight again, and then lower our periapsis to where we land here on the bright side. So if we do get disconnected from our mission control, then we hopefully it shouldn't be an issue. But let's observe what happens if we lose our connection. All right, are we gonna lose it? Yeah, we lost it. But look at this. It says we're connected. Huh, I don't know why that's not working. If you know why that's not working, please let me know, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe, oh, do I need to, maybe, let's try this. I've got 2 more of these things. Let's connect you. Uh-oh, no connection. Oh, I can't yet. Okay, let's get back to where we have a connection. We can operate the ship. And then I want to try something really quick before we try to land this guy. Maybe I've just figured it out. Maybe we can't communicate with these guys with the omnidirectional antennas. Maybe we have to use the dishes for everything. So let me tell this guy to target the Ike probe mission Mark 1. And let me tell this one to target the Duna ComSat A. I need to rename that other guy. Activate. Aha. Aha. I think that was the issue. All right. Let's land the sucker. See how much we can do with this fuel tank before we have to land. Thumbnail. Let's have it be setting for the thumbnail. Something like that. Oh, it's very nice. I like that. Okay, here we come. So Ike has pretty low gravity. Landing should be a piece of cake, should be fairly forgiving. All right, let's go ahead and... I've got extra fuel to spare, so let's go ahead and let's kill off all of our horizontal speed with the rest of this tank. All right, here we go, coming in for the landing, coming in more or less straight down, and I'm trying not to lose line of sight. I don't think we will. Let's keep our eye on the target, though. I think we should be fine. Okay, slow down, though. Slow down. Okay, now just feather it. Yeah, let's speed up a little bit. We're going a little bit too slow. Okay, now let's bleed off a little speed very slowly. 1 meter a second. Yes, we are... Oh, okay, that's too slow. 2 meters per second is just fine. 2.5 and touchdown. SAS off. So we're connected to Kerbin. The satellite for Ike is behind us. We don't have line of sight with that, nor do we have line of sight with the Duna ComSat. So let's do our science and transmit while we can. How's our electric charge is full. Okay. Observe mystery goo. You say it observes the goo. All right, great. Observe materials bay. One of the samples has reacted very strangely to the surface. Okay. And now we can do the seismic data. Surface will be monitored for... What? Oh. Okay, this must be changed by one of the mods, because this is not the default way that it works. Collect impact data. No target. Okay, apparently that works. Oh, 0.1 grams. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Some mod must be changing the behavior there. What about the temperature? Aha, we collected it. We recorded it. And if I click, I think I have to click on this antenna. Okay, no, I can't do that. The old antenna, I think the RemoteTech mod has changed it, but I think you could select all the data that you're storing and say send all. What if, what about one of these? This is connected to Kerbin. It's not going to let us either. So I guess I have to send each one individually. All right. I guess I'll just do that, and then we'll go back to Kerbin. All right, well, we're back at the Space Center, and we've accumulated 500 science. I think we left with about 40, and we're up to 500,000 in funds. Awesome, okay. Oh, archive. So we just finished Explore Ike, which got us like an extra 300-ish thousand, something like that. Very good. Very, very good. So we've got 500 science, and I think I actually might save it until I'm building the ship for the next mission. And I realize, hey, oh shoot, I need this part. And then I'll have some leftover science to research something if I realize I need something like, for instance, the nuclear engine, the LV. Or something else in this tier, or maybe 2 of these guys. We could do 320... We could do 3 of these guys. Might do something like that. Anyway, that about does it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later. Take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.